Online visibility is not luck, it's a strategy. Combine SEO, digital PR, and content distribution to grow. Visit adz.com to learn more.
This is you without Collaborator. Invisible, just another seagull. And this is you with Collaborator. Get noticed in the AI era.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Hi everyone, yeah, really fascinating stuff there. What I want to do is just take it up a level first and then we can move back down into those details. So we're from SimilarWeb, we're the leading market intelligence view of the digital world. And today we're going to talk about the early data, what it's telling us about Google AI Mode. So what we'll cover today, first of all, AI Mode, why is it here? Then I'll move on to, is it actually being used with our data? And then finally, let's look at what the outputs are, and then more importantly, how we think you can optimize towards that. So, first of all, why AI Mode? So we know Gemini and we know AI Mode. There's two different ways. It's clearly a view that they had needed to make a strategic shift. But let's jump into the real data. So Gemini usage is absolutely dwarfed by ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is getting 247 million average monthly users, whereas Gemini was only getting 13 million. Google dominates, but ChatGPT is, the trend is growing strong. So the top line here, this is Google search. We're not seeing a major change at the moment, but as you can see, the ChatGPT is seeing the growth. So for any big business, if you own market leadership or you dominate that market, if you start to lose growth, you need to start to disrupt, you need to start to make a change. And I think Google's the OG of disruption, really, one of them. So this is where we're seeing that change. 97% of ChatGPT users are still ChatGPT users still use Google. So this is actually a really good sign for Google, and I don't think it's surprising. When we first saw this data, we thought it would be lower. But the user is still looking at search, they're still on Google, but they're using ChatGPT to other things. But the real question is AI Mode keeping searches onto Google? So let's jump into is it being used, okay? So spoiler, a quarter of all Google users have tried AI Mode. So I don't think that's a test now. I think that is the start, it's a real signal of a start of a big change and a revolution in a sense. And then to complement that, AI Mode now is the fastest growing chatbot to get to 100 million. And I think anyone that's in this space, you saw the growth of ChatGPT, the real sign of this exponential world. AI Mode, because they had that dominance and because they put it in front of users of where they are seeing this huge, huge growth. So 100 million users since launch. So when you see, what we're also seeing is a quarter of those users are using AI Mode. So yes, that's 100 million in total, but a quarter of Google search users are using AI Mode. And we're seeing roughly the same type of trends in the US and the UK. But we're not seeing it sticky at all. So what we're seeing is most users, around about 60% of them, have only used AI Mode once. So the data here is the number of days active. So they're only using it once. However, the optimistic side is any startup or any company hitting 40% of users coming back regularly, again, another signal that this is certainly here to stay, and I would probably back that Google will do something to really dominate in this space. Searches per session are steadily growing in AI Mode. So the top here is Google searches. It's around about 5.86% of searches per session. But AI Mode is much, much smaller. So it's around about 2.5%, 2.5 sessions, searches per session. But more importantly, you can see it's growing. So we've already said that growth is what they need, and they are seeing this growth in this area. So let's move on to outputs and optimization. So Google, BBC are already talking about it. So this is out there, it's in the consciousness already. AI mode is fundamentally sending less clicks to referral sites and to us, essentially. This is the big issue, and this is the big thing that we need to try and understand what's happening and how we're going to combat that over time. So that age of having just 10 blue links in Google, it's gone. And really, the most relevant link, the most relevant site, the most relevant content is what's going to win. And unfortunately, that puts the pressure on us. We've got to get that, and we've got to find a way of being the most relevant. So let's really deep dive into what we talk about clicks. So this is what we would call a referral from these areas. So this is scary to me, if I'm honest. So AI mode is generating 90% fewer clicks than traditional search. So Google has a 20% referral rate. So 20% of those searches are resulting on a click to a company, to a site, to a source. And AI mode's only at 2%. So when 9 out of 10 clicks or users disappears, being in that remaining 1% isn't optional. So again, we have to really think about what are those key things that get you to that top 1%. Onward journey. So this is, we're able to look at sort of the engagement once the customers get onto these sites. So we track every company really in the world's website, so we can give data at very fast granularity, daily, weekly, monthly, etc. What we can see here is the first graph is time on site. So we're seeing that Google searches spend around about 8.5 minutes on site. But AI mode is lower. But what we are seeing is that quality of traffic coming from ChatGPT is exponentially higher. Now, we can only surmise why that is. We think it is because predominantly those users that are on Google already are using AI, and they're in that fast time. They're looking for a specific thing. They're not actually using it at the moment for like ChatGPT was to really get into big projects, understand in depth, deep research, etc. But we're seeing a similar thing on page views on the referral site as well. So you can actually see it's basically the same structure. So 9.7 page views on average from Google search, 7.5 from AI mode, and again 13.1, so a big increase on ChatGPT. We think it's because AI mode users, Google are keeping them there. They're answering those questions ever more. And again, this is another big structural shift that I'm sure we're all seeing, which is Google want you to stay on Google. And if they click through to you, we've really got to find ways to make that impact very quickly, more than ever, and also make sure they stick and make sure they move around that website. And we can track that over time. So we can track this at domain level. So as you make those changes, we can actually help you track and understand, is your work making an impact? So let's go into where we're seeing those referral sites. So AI mode clicks are going to what we call the usual suspects. So AI mode on the left, Google in the middle, and ChatGPT. So you can see they are all directing to major sources, major comparative sites, forums, etc. But what we're seeing is ChatGPT is going slightly more technical. So you'll see GitHub up there, you'll see NIH.gov. So they're definitely going more technical, and we are starting to see that a little bit. And I think the great presenter before was showing how YouTube and those types of things, we're seeing that in AI mode as well. So let's go into how do you succeed in AI mode, which I think is the most important thing. We know it's a major shift. We know they're focused on it, and we know the track record of Google. So let's assume that they're going to get what they want. So first of all, they've told us what we need to do, really. So I think when a company describes their product, they're not marketing it. They're actually just revealing what's in their algorithm, what's in their solution. It really is in there. So first of all, reliable results from the best of the web. They want helpful links. They want you to explore further. And they want it to be a wide range of perspective. So let's go into each one of those and deep dive. Best of the web. So we don't think this is now just purely about authority. We think authority, of course, plays a part, but we think the bar for quality content has really increased now. And we also think that as we go through this, you'll see that this opens a door to challengers, brands. It opens a door to the smaller, more fragmented nature of this e-commerce world. Helpful links. So Google wants to show you helpful links to the user, but it doesn't want you just to provide that answer. It wants you now to be the curator of that content. It wants you to look not just at the obvious, not just answer it, but look beneath that, really understand what that customer is looking for, and then help them through a journey. As we could see, Reddit, Money Supermarket, these curation websites are doing well, and actually there's no reason why e-commerce sites, other sites could not start to do that themselves. Explore further. So explore further. At the moment, we don't actually know what this really means. So it could mean they want you to explore further on AI mode and not leave that site. Or it could mean they want you to explore further in the e-commerce. I think at the moment, we need to assume both. Again, based on track records, what's their business model? Their business model is to monetize us, monetize our customers. So we can see a future very soon that monetization comes into AI, and actually keeping you on that site is ever more important. Oh, I've just pressed the wrong button. But for me, the really, really interesting one, and probably the biggest shift, is a wide range of perspectives. So Elizabeth Reed told us, she said that if you have an opinion, you are more likely to be found. That's the VP of product of AI mode. They want us to have an opinion. They don't want bland, generic content the same as everyone else. This is actually quite exciting if you're a creative, and it gives you the blueprint that you can now go away and you need to find, in line with your brands, in line with what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to do, you need to find a way to have an opinion. That's, again, why you're seeing that in a lot of these Reddits. There is opinion. They're looking for that wide range of perspectives. So I'm not going to go anywhere near as technical as the two before us. It's really interesting stuff, and I'd love to get the slides. But first of all, optimizing for AI. So we think actually, and again, it is essentially the same as search. We've got to be able to, it's got to be indexable, it's got to be able to be crawled, okay? But the really interesting stuff is the query found out. So we think content, we now need to be anticipating what the customer's going to be asking, what they need, not just that first point of providing them an answer. We need to think further ahead. So we need to think about, I don't know, if I've got a savings account, if they're asking for a savings account, a bank savings account, they probably need to know about interest rates. If they need to know about interest rates, they probably want to understand about withdrawal limits, those types of things. So really start thinking about how you bring that query found out. And also think again, how can you have an opinion? How can you start to direct them to a wide range of perspectives, but still, of course, driving them into what you need them to either purchase or consume? Media. So AI is absolutely multimodal. So text content alone is just not going to cut it. Videos, pictures with text. But again, let's look at a clue from Google. If you use their LLM notebook, what's their biggest feature? It's a podcast creator. It can consume text, it can consume data, and it will create a very, very scary podcast that you have no idea is a podcast. You think it's real people. So they're telling us that audio is actually a future as well. And I don't see many brands or companies in the world that are really leveraging audio. So really think about it as multimodal, and start thinking about how you can increase those different media types. So let's use this as an example. So what are the best banks? We searched what are the best banks for a savings account in the UK. So this is Google search, and what you can see, it's a mix of major brands. You've got HSBC, NatWest, First Direct, etc. Authority, it's got authority in there. But there are a few SERP features, Reddit, and videos, things like that as well. But you see a different picture on AI mode. So now what we have on AI mode is 60% of the search query are sources. So you've got Money Supermarket right at the top. You do have some authority, Tesco's Bank, NatWest, but then you really do have a lot of sources and publishers. Then where are the recommendations coming from in AI mode? So understanding what's it's being shown, but then actually recommending where to go. Now we start to see with this search, we've got a totally different view of what banks are being recommended. So we've got Chase Bank, Ulster Bank, Zupa, Challenger brands. But we've asked what the best banks are. So it's getting that data from somewhere. So proof's in the pudding. This is Money Supermarket. So the source, the top source, it goes to the top. And here they've given a top pick of savings accounts, and it's Chase and Ulster. So this is really interesting because it means authorities. So if I'm big business, got to take note because it's not just about authority. You cannot get away with just marketing something. You need to think about, is your product, is your solution seriously market leading? But then also you need to get onto these sources. So you can either be the source or you need to be part of the source, essentially. So let's summarize that section again. So Google search is fairly stable, and it presents a mix of results, but it is favoring authority and it's favoring big brands. Brand visibility in AI mode can and often is totally different to what you're seeing in Google. And it is based off source recommendations. And then AI mode presents an opportunity for challenger brands, but it also presents a pretty big opportunity or pivot for large brands to make sure they're starting to act like challenger brands and they're getting their products, their services, their content to be sourced and to be shown in these different areas. So, key takeaways for AI mode today. So, adoption and usage isn't high right now, but we really think it's going to grow. Like I say, would you bet against Google? Probably not. Think, be the source or be in the source. If that's something you could take away, we really think you need to look at those two aspects of it. And prioritize having an opinion. I think this is the most fun one, but also for companies, probably the most scary. We've done everything in our power to not have an opinion and to be bland. But we need an opinion. They're not going to give the user a list of 10, 20 different companies or sites to go to. They're going to try and find the best one based off the available data. Okay, so we think we're early in all of this. So yes, SEO and geo is absolutely the hot topic, but we're seeing this is the first step and we're seeing there's more steps going forward. So we're all ready and we offer lots of different things around holistic search. So yes, making sure you're ranked in LLMs, AI, but also classic SEO. But then also moving on to how are you ranking on retailers' websites? How are you ranking on sources' websites? We can start to give that data, we can give that data and we can really partner with you in order to give you that full breadth of understanding of that. So let's talk about who we are very quickly. So SimilarWeb, like I said, we provide the largest and most comprehensive view of the digital world. We essentially can give you data on almost any website in the world. We have very, very low, fast granularity, so we have daily data. And in a world that's getting more fragmented, changing faster and faster, you can't really just wait a month. You need to be there in person and see that change and then adapt in flight. And again, exciting times, really. We're based on real human behavior. So our data is based on real user behavior. So we can understand anything that's going on in our data sets, and you can be sure that it's real humans that are speaking about it. So finally, how can we help you on your Gen I intelligence? So we can help you win in geo, we can help you win in SEO, and we can help you win in all aspects of the digital world. We have trusted real user prompts and behavioral data. So we can tell you what real users are talking about on ChatGPT, for instance. We can give you brand visibility and traffic data. How are you being visible, and how much referral you're getting? And I want to reiterate it again, because we look at all aspects, we can give you that full comprehensive view end to end. So come say hi to us. We're in booth 3 right at the front. Nice and cold there, but so it'd be lovely to see you, and thank you very much.
You've got 2 blind spots: keyword rankings and LLM visibility. Now, most tools solve one, but AccuRanker solves both. See how at booth number 18.
Demand Sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Wait, do you want free ice cream, or do you want to know the latest in how search behaviour is changing? If it's the latter, download Search Pulse by Reflect Digital. Get that now.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.